哟，你好啊，我好啊，阿罗啊，没有啦，就是继续开始吧。我们来看一下这个探索模式会是
Put on your headphones, close your eyes, and watch the story in your imagination. Click the play.
哦，所以这个其实是没有画面的，是不是
Edgar Allan Poe, The Oval Portrait.
哇，这一个音效其实还不错，那个画面其实还不错。
Apennine Mountains, Italy, 1838.
Sir, I found a trace. This way.
Servant Pedro is calling from the right. Press the right arrow on your keyboard to turn right. Press the right arrow on your keyboard to turn right.
Here, I'm in front of you, sir.
To go forward, press the up arrow.
I think I can see the path.
Close. They're close. Let's find out what they're debating so much.
Sir, it's dangerous out there.
My dear Pedro, what would the life be without satisfying curiosity with a little adventure?
Sir, I strongly insist you not to stray from the path.
Stay where you are, Pedro. Be right back.
To turn left to the crows, press the left arrow key. Enter the area in front of you. To go forward, press the up arrow.
Whoa. Ah, sneaky rogues. Poor Pedro would have nothing to scrape me off the bottom of this abyss. I owe him an apology for my recklessness. I have to carefully step back.
To go back, press the down arrow.
Is everything all right, sir?
Indeed, my friend. And thank you for your concern.
Follow Pedro using the arrows.
Here.
我现在才发现这个
Press the
其实蛮有
space
趣
bar
的
to，hear a help sound and
然后
follow
这
it.
个也蛮有趣的。
Here. This way.
这小人也蛮有趣的。
Here. Did something happen, sir?
I can hear music.
我可以听到音乐，
Yes. It's drawing me to something.
I don't think I can understand it, sir.
Neither
我想
do
到一些
I.
东西。
But trust me, this time I'm not going to mindlessly risk.
Follow the music. If at any point you get lost, press the space bar to hear a help sound and follow it.
他刚才提醒我要按左边右边的。
Follow the music. If at any point you get lost, press the space bar to hear a help sound and follow it.
Something more. Our fate.
Chapter 2 The Music.
Attention! Slippery stones.
Careful, Pedro. Our horses are definitely not Pegasi.
I hope the trail will be gentler beyond this slope.
有图就对了，其实还是有图的啊、
Let us pause for a moment, my friend, and listen to the music of this little creature. Have you ever wondered, dear Pedro, why a bird sings?
I think, sir, that he wants to interest the bird maiden in his petite person.
Can a bird really want something? Do we create beauty and harmony by the power of our will, or do they flow from the nature of the world?
觉得下面这个文字啊，如果要好的话，可以放在中间一点点。就是这个。
Exit the main menu.
哦，所以刚刚那个就是不小心用到这
Exit the
边，
main
所以
menu.
它才有那个。
A grove at last.
It looks like more travelers are using this trail.
I wonder, sir, if we can make it to the pass before dusk.
Nights can be cold, and there are dangers in the shadow of the mountains.
晚上会变很危险。
It's suspiciously quiet here.
The path looks safe.
My horse became anxious. Keep your eyes peeled, Pedro.
就是现在 creatures
Sir,
就是一切都很安静，他觉得
Keep the
很
dagger
好像有
close
危
at
险，
hand.
要注意一下。
Go!
就是
Don't
有
stop!
人就是打我们，没办法，因为他觉得我们是坏的。哦，我们被射了，外面变红色了，我们受伤了。然后红色越来越小，代表说止血。
sir, you are bleeding. I'll try to dress the wound.
I'm breathing，
I'm
我
afraid
在流血。
I can't go any further.
Let's at least try to walk around this mountain in front of us. We must find a shelter from rain and wind.
我要找避难所，因为现在在下雨。
The sun had been set above an hour, but the horizon still retained somewhat of a saffron brilliancy, and the whole dome of the sky had an appearance of transparency, peculiar to this enchanting climate, which seemed to diffuse a more soothing twilight over the reposing world. In the southeast, the outline of Vesuvius appeared distinctly, but the mountain itself was dark and silent.
Sir, I'm afraid Vesuvius is in a different province.
Don't worry, Pedro, I haven't lost my mind. The fever brought me an excerpt from a novel by a great writer.
反正就是现在我们要跑去这个 castle， 这个叫做城堡。
Sir, I can see the castle. Hold on a little longer.
他可以看到城堡了。
fever had been excessive and of long duration. All the remedies attainable in this wild Apennine region had been exhausted to no purpose. My valet and sole attendant in the lonely chateau was too nervous and too grossly unskillful to venture upon letting blood, of which indeed I had already lost too much in the affray with the banditti. Neither could I safely permit him to leave me in search of assistance.
Hey, is anyone here? We need help.
有人在吗？我们要帮忙。
Hey, travelers in need. We have no hostile intentions.
我们需要帮
Sir,
忙。
it looks like no one's here.
看起来没
The
有人
buildings
在
are。well kept. Probably the owners have recently left.
反正他们就到一个地方，有一只乌鸦。
Hold on to me, sir. I'll get you off your horse. Wait here, sir. I'll be back in a moment.
哦，所以我们是骑马，我以为是马车。反正我受
Please
伤
lean
了。
on me. We need to get to the door.
P-O-U-R-T Port Yacht 中庭吗？我记得之前那个模式就是一直按空白键就好，现在这个 Control 模式就是要按方向键。
We are already at the door. You will rest in a moment. Damn, it's locked. Sir, hold on to that railing.
我们到
I
门
have
这
to use the
边，
pick lock.
然后稍等一下，然后他现在要把那个 padlock 那个门锁给撬开。那这样我们就可以进去城堡里面。
Let's go.
The chateau into which Pedro had ventured to make forcible entrance, rather than permit me, in my desperately wounded condition, to pass a night in the open air, was one of those piles of commingled gloom and grandeur which have so long frowned among the Apennines, not less in fact than in the fancy of Mrs. Radcliffe. To all appearance it had been temporarily and very lately abandoned.
.就到这个，这是什么 ？QRET Birds 是什么地方？空白键。嗯？
We established ourselves in one of the smallest and least sumptuously furnished apartments. It lay in a remote turret of the building. Its decorations were rich, yet tattered and antique. Its walls were hung with tapestry and bedecked with manifold and multiform armorial trophies, together with an unusually great number of very spirited modern paintings in frames of rich gold and arabesque.
反正就发现这里面有很多那个古董 chamber， 在这个房间里面。
In these paintings, which depended from the walls not only in their main surfaces, but in very many nooks which the bizarre architecture of the chateau rendered necessary, in these paintings my incipient delirium perhaps had caused me to take deep interest.
哦，那在这里面看到一些图画。这些图画好像是直接就是图画，不是直接画在墙壁上的。
So that I bade Pedro to close the heavy shutters of the room, since it was already night, to light the tongues of a tall candelabrum which stood by the head of my bed, and to throw open far and wide the fringed curtains of black velvet which enveloped the bed itself. I wished all this done that I might resign myself, if not to sleep, at least alternately to the contemplation of these pictures, and the perusal of a small volume which had been found upon the pillow, and which purported to criticize and describe them.
反正他就是看到这里面，然后他看到一些图画，他想要知道这些图画的那个人这样。然后volume 可以是体积，可以是声音，可以是那个什么东西啊？可以是体积，可以是声音，可以是还有什么volume还有什么意思啊？没关系，就可能就是一个空间吧，是不是
？Long I read, and devotedly I gazed. Rapidly and gloriously the hours flew by, and the deep midnight came. The position of the candelabrum displeased me, and outreaching my hand with difficulty, rather than disturb my slumbering valet, I placed it so as to throw its rays more fully upon the book.
反正他就是
But the action produced an effect altogether unanticipated. The rays of the numerous candles, for there were many, now fell within a niche of the room, which had hitherto been thrown into deep shade by one of the bedposts. I thus saw in vivid light a picture all unnoticed before. It was the portrait of a young girl just ripening into womanhood. I glanced at the painting hurriedly and then closed my eyes. Why I did this was not at first apparent even to my own perception. But while my lids remained thus shut, I ran over in my mind my reason for so shutting them. It was an impulsive movement to gain time for thought, to make sure that my vision had not deceived me, to calm and subdue my fancy for a more sober and more certain gaze. In a very few moments I again looked fixedly at the painting.
反正他就看到一些图片、图画。
That I now saw aright I could not and would not doubt, for the first flashing of the candles upon that canvas had seemed to dissipate the dreamy stupor which was stealing over my senses, and to startle me at once into waking life.
The Oval Portrait.
The portrait, I have already said, was that of a young girl. It was a mere head and shoulders, done in what is technically termed as vignette manner, much in the style of the favorite heads of Sally. The arms, the bosom, and even the ends of the radiant hair melted imperceptibly into the vague yet deep shadow which formed the background of the whole. The frame was oval, richly gilded and filigree Moresque. As a thing of art, nothing could be more admirable than the painting itself, but it could have been neither the execution of the work, nor the immortal beauty of the countenance, which had so suddenly and so vehemently moved me. Least of all could it have been that my fancy, shaken from its half-slumber, had mistaken the head for that of a living person? I saw at once that the peculiarities of the design, of the vignetting and of the frame must have instantly dispelled such idea, must have prevented even its momentary entertainment. Thinking earnestly upon these points, I remained for an hour perhaps, half sitting, half reclining, with my vision riveted upon the portrait. At length, satisfied with the true secret of its effect, I fell back within the bed. I had found the spell of the picture in an absolute lifelikeness of expression, which at first startling, finally confounded, subdued, and appalled me. With deep and reverent awe, I replaced the candelabrum in its former position. The cause of my deep agitation being thus shut from view, I sought eagerly the volume which discussed the paintings and their histories. Turning to the number which designated the oval portrait, I there read the vague and quaint words which follow.
第10章。
She was a maiden of rarest beauty and not more lovely than full of glee. And evil was the hour when she saw and loved and wedded the painter. He, passionate, studious, austere, and having already a bride in his heart, she a maiden of rarest beauty, and not more lovely than full of glee, all light and smiles, and frolicsome as the young fawn, loving and cherishing all things.
第10章。
Hating only the art which was her rival, dreading only the palette and brushes and other untoward instruments which deprived her of the countenance of her lover. It was thus a terrible thing for this lady to hear the painter speak of his desire to portray even his young bride. But she was humble and obedient, and sat meekly for many weeks in the dark, high-turret chamber, where the light dripped upon the pale canvas only from overhead.
Action 第11章。右下角这个图画真蛮有趣的。
But he, the painter, took glory in his work, which went on from hour to hour and from day to day, and he was a passionate and wild and moody man who became lost in reveries, so that he would not see that the light which fell so ghastly in that lone turret withered the health and the spirits of his bride, who pined visibly to all but him. Yet she smiled on and still on, uncomplainingly, because she saw that the painter who had high renown took a fervid and burning pleasure in his task, and wrote day and night to depict her who so loved him, yet who grew daily more dispirited and weak. And in sooth, some who beheld the portrait spoke of its resemblance in low words, as of a mighty marvel, and the proof not less of the power of the painter than of his deep love for her whom he depicted so surpassingly well.
第12章。
But at length, as the labor drew nearer to its conclusion, there were admitted none into the turret, for the painter had grown wild with the ardor of his work and turned his eyes from canvas merely, even to regard the countenance of his wife. And he would not see that the tints which he spread upon the canvas were drawn from the cheeks of her who sat beside him. And when many weeks bed past, and but little remained to do, save one brush upon the mouth and one tint upon the eye, the spirit of the lady again flickered up, as the flame within the socket of the lamp. And then the brush was given, and then the tint was placed, and, For one moment, the painter stood entranced before the work which he had wrought. But in the next, while he had gazed, he grew tremulous and very pallid, and aghast and crying with a loud voice, "This is indeed life itself!" turned suddenly to regard his beloved. She was dead. Continue. New game. Continue. New game.
结束了。
Quit.
好啊，那既然结束了，因为我好像刚刚到最后也有点小嘟咕，
Quit.
好吧，那就先这样吧，拜拜喽，我要休息了，拜拜。哦，刚刚这个是这个是那个 credit， 那我们就把 credit 把它给看一下吧。OK， 好，对，这样咯，拜拜。